minutes while the meeting has started.
7:05 p.m. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Councilman Galvin.
Here.
Councilwoman Timothy. Here. Mayor Desilme.
Here.
Vice Mayor Estime Irvin. Councilman Charles.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum to proceed.
Thank you so much. And now we're going to have Pledge Allegiance by Major Angelo Benson from the North Miami Police Department, followed by invocation by Pastor William Vasquez of Great I Am Church.
Good evening. Please face the flag, place your hand on your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. God bless you all. I'm going to read a scripture, the wise words of a king. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark saying. Father, thank you for this meeting, and thank you for all the people that is right here. Thank you for keeping us alive. And now we're going to take a minute of silence for the situation over on Parkland. And please be quiet. Thank you very much. And thank you, Father, for this day, for us to keep us alive. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Vasquez. Madam Manager, any addition, deletion, amendment, or deferral to the agenda?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. There is actually there's actually one item that is Vice Mayor would like to be co-sponsoring. It's actually tab D. That's the resolution expressing sympathy for Pastor Michelle Simone. And then there's one proposed addition for resolution.
Okay, Mr. Attorney, are we all set for the agenda, or do we need to vote for?
Yes, sir. You need to vote on the add-on for the resolution.
Okay, for the add-on, can I hear a motion?
Second.
Could you speak into the mic?
So
The motion.
moved.
Thank you. Okay, so there's a motion to approve the add-on item made by Vice Mayor Estime Irvin. The motion was seconded by Councilman Charles. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
So, Mayor, the only thing you need to say, we need to know where that's going to appear on the agenda. Is it going to be the first item taken and end of the resolutions?
Can you put it in consent?
Tab, I was just asked if we could put it in consent.
To put it on consent?
What are we putting on the consent? We can't, right? No, because it wasn't.
Yes, you can.
This is the item, that's the new tab that we just added. So you were trying to create a tab for it and then discuss where we're putting it. So on the resolution, can we have a JA or a JB or?
So you're adding it at the end of the resolutions?
At the beginning, I was trying to.
Oh, at the beginning. Okay. Yeah. So it'll be the first.
What are we adding?
This is the resolution that they just
Yeah,
gave
it'll be the
us.
first resolution
Okay,
we take up.
just wanted to
So it'll be the
clarify.
first resolution we take up, and I guess you can consent. Okay.
If we take it. Is that okay? Is that, or we could do it at the end, or it doesn't matter which
Just
order.
add it to, are we adding it to consent or, yeah?
Is that what
Add it
y'all-
to consent at the end, yeah.
Well, If it's consent, it won't be at the end, it's in there.
I think she's saying adding
would
it
be
to.
end of
At the end of
At the end of
consent, I
consent.
got, I'm sorry. Yes, okay, I don't have any
So
issue
it'll
with
be a
that.
J.
It's, let me, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I still
I
need
have
to
a,
vote.
I just have a question
Okay.
for it. Yes, go ahead.
So there's a motion to put the add-on item as the last item in consent made by Councilwoman Timothy. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Quick question before we move on. I just have one quick question, Mr. Attorney, regarding this, this item. This item, I just been asked a question in terms of the item, and I, told the person I recently heard about, I just heard about it, today, this morning. It's been a long day, I'm sorry. This item is not made for, or the purpose of this particular item is not for in a specific area or a specific individual in terms of that, Mr. Attorney. This,
Are we talking about the same item?
I believe so. This is
The add-on item, right?
Oh no, not. I'm sorry. Never mind. I'm looking at the right idea, but wrong item. Go ahead now. I'm sorry. Now we're gonna have a special presentation.
So the agenda is set, Mayor.
The
You may
agenda is
proceed.
set. I'm sorry. Thank you. Special presentation, a quick presentation from FDOT. This is. Which item is that? Is that already in consent? Scott.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Auralis Benitez. I'm the project manager with the Florida Department of Transportation. I'm here to give you an update on the Golden Gate interchange, specifically on the southbound, I-95 southbound segment. You guys have all seen this. This is our project segmentation for the Golden Glades interchange reconstruction program. We have a total of 8 segments, and they're all gonna be constructed under one construction project. I wanna focus this update on the pink segment, which is the reconstruction of the I-95 southbound, and the limits extend from Biscayne Canal to 135th Street. The scope of the project on the I-95 portion includes total reconstruction of the roadway I-95. We are adding some southbound lanes. We're relocating the existing toll gantry, reconstructing the pedestrian bridge, widening 143rd Street. We're reconstructing 151st Street. And we have some drainage improvements, signing and pavement marking, ITS, and lighting. On northwest 6th Court, the scope is also reconstruction from northwest 140th Street and to 142nd Street. We also have drainage improvements within this segment. We have drainage improvements, sign and pavement marking, and driveway sidewalks, new sidewalks and driveways. We have gone through extensive coordination with the City of North Miami Public Works Departments. We have accomplished all these milestones listed here on the project with the city. And our goal today is to get a permanent easement within the city for maintenance purposes. And I'll go through each one of them in a little bit. So if you recall, in our early stages of the project, we came here to present the need for a minor right-of-way acquisition. We needed about 2 feet of strip of right-of-way to accommodate the new 95 widening. So we acquired that strip through a deed to physically feed the I-95 highway. Then we presented the typical section package, which set the alignment and the type of roadway that we're gonna construct on Northwest Sixth Court. Here you can see a two-lane typical section with new sidewalk, sod, and swell area. Then along with the typical section, once we had the plan substantially developed and everyone had a chance to review the plans and agree with what type of was being proposed, we then enter into an off-system agreement with the city of North Miami that basically will allow us to construct the improvements on Sixth Court and Northwest 143rd Street. As part of the off-system agreement, we had attached this exhibit which highlights the maintenance agency responsibilities. The blue shape is what we already acquired through the deed, and the red shape is for a drainage trunk line that we have highlighted for FDOT to maintain, and this is essentially what we want to get as a permanent easement, so we can maintain it in perpetuity. Same thing goes with 143rd Street. We have highlighted the same trunk line to be maintained by FDOT in the same exhibit. So we are presenting two permanent easements as parcels 800 and 801, one for Sixth Court and one for 143rd Street to maintain the drainage trunk line. And that was pretty much it. So just a high-level schedule. The plans for the GGI, it's complete. Plans are complete. Letting is August of 2023, and that's a mistake, a typo. The begin construction date should be spring of 2024, and the anticipated construction duration for the whole project, since the whole thing is going to be constructed at the same time, it's about 7 years.
Jesus. Lord have mercy. Quick question. I thought it was important, especially if we're gonna spend that amount of time. I didn't know it was 7 years total. I asked the manager to have the presentation, so at least we would know. My question is that once completion is done of these projects, do you guys turn them back, or this is just for you guys to maintain forever?
The whole GGI?
Well, the whatever area that you had highlighted in our city.
No, so we give it back to the city.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Okay.
will construct the new road, and we want to keep the drainage, the trunk
Absolutely.
line, right.
Okay.
So then the yellow area will be just the surface, which will turn on to the city for you
Yes.
to maintain.
Colleagues, any questions? Councilman? Pierre, you good? Charles, I'm sorry. Council member? Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now city events, announcement, Tracy.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. And good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, North Miami neighbors, and guests. I'm Tracy Pollock, and I am presenting the announcements on behalf of the City of North Miami. The following are upcoming city events and other announcements. Okay. The City of North Miami is celebrating Black History Month with the national theme of Black Resistance. Join us throughout February at several events highlighting the influence of historical moments and people that influenced American history. For details, visit northmiamifl.gov/celebrate. Join Councilwoman Timothy for a month-long commemoration of random acts of kindness. Donations are accepted now through Friday, February 24th. At North Miami City Hall, North Miami Police Department, and the North Miami Public Library. As a part of Conversations at MoCA, the Aesthetic Languages of Haiti in the Diaspora, Mayor DeSome will present Didier William with A Key to the City on tomorrow, February 15th, from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Mocha Paradise Courtyard. Councilwoman Timothy, in partnership with Farm Share, presents a free drive-through food distribution on Thursday, February 16th at 10 a.m. in the parking lot of the North Miami Police Department. Join Vice Mayor Estime Irving as we celebrate Black History Month with a meet and greet with the cast and producer of Editish on Thursday, February 16th from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at the Mocha Art Paradise Courtyard. RSVP via email at info@editishmusicalhaiti.com. Join us for the Mayor's Conversation Series, co-hosted by Mayor DeSome and Miami-Dade County Public Schools Board member Steve Gallen. The event features former Ohio State Senator and CNN political commentator Nina Turner and will take place on Friday, February 24th from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. at North Miami Senior High School. To RSVP, visit the city's Eventbrite page. On Friday, February 24th, at the Joe Celestine Community Center beginning 7 p.m., spend an evening with us as we honor individuals who have contributed to our communities. We invite you to the 7th Annual Evening of Honors. The deadline for nominations for the honorees is tomorrow, February 15th at 11:59 p.m. Visit the city's website for details. Mark your calendar for Jazz at Mocha. This month featured artists are Troy Anderson and the Wonderful World Band on Friday, February 24th at 8 p.m. on the Mocha Plaza. Don't miss NOMI Musical Festival with Stephanie Mills, In Vogue, Tony, Atlantic Star, Mickey Howard, and B. Howard, and many more on Saturday, February 25th at Cagney Park. To purchase tickets, visit nomifest.com and take advantage of today's Valentine's Day discount. Finally, the City of North Miami is closed on Monday, February 20th, in observance of President's Day. To stay up to date with NOMI news and events, log on to North Miami's website at northmiamifl.gov. Click on Connect with NOMI on the homepage to sign up for the city's newsletters. Also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at North Miami FL and on Twitter at NOMI News. This concludes the announcements. Have a restful holiday.
Thank you. Thank you. Appointments?
A resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, appointing Michael McDermott to the Board of Adjustment in accordance with Chapter 29, Article 2, Section 2-302 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. This is an appointment by Vice Mayor Mary Estime Irvin.
Move approval.
Second, just want to make sure that we clarify that he's an at-large member and not an alternate member, please.
There are no at-large appointments.
There's no at-large appointment for that? I'm sorry. Okay, so we're good. Thank you.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to appoint Michael McDermott to the Board of Adjustment. The motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Estime Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Mr. Mayor, I do have a question. In my briefing with the city attorney today, previously there was a rule that you couldn't serve on the BOA and the Planning Commission because they were quasi-judicial, and I know I've been telling people that, but we later found out that, if you can explain, Mr. City Attorney.
Yeah, I'll be providing a memo based on Councilwoman's, because even I was under that impression. I've been working at the city a long time before I even came here, and I know at one point, BOA and Planning Commission were both quasi-judicial. I think at some point, I think it was while I've been here, we changed that and made one of them, I think it's BOA, as one of them is still quasi-judicial, and the other one is
Advisory.
Advisory. forgetting the word. So yeah, so as long, because one is advisory and one is quasi judicial, you can have one person sit on
So
both.
which one is the
That hasn't always been-
quasi-judicial?
I'm trying to think which one.
The planning?
I think it's planning commission is advisory, board of adjustment,
Is
board of adjustment is quasi judicial. Because you appeal board of adjustment issues to the circuit court. That was the issue, I think, with planning commission. I think the council, the majority
Well, I
of the
know
council didn't want the planning commission issues to go straight to court to appeal. They wanted to be able to have those come back here. So at some point it changed. And when that changed, that's when the idea that you could be on both changed.
On both, okay. Thank you for stating that.
A resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, appointing Lumana Joseph to the Downtown Action Plan Advisory Committee in accordance with Chapter 29, Article 2, Division 4 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. This is an appointment by Councilwoman Cassandra Timothy.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion made by Mayor Desilme to appoint Lumana Joseph to the Downtown Action Plan Advisory Committee. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Timothy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote. A resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, appointing Charles D. Ernst to the Planning Commission in accordance with Chapter 29, Article 2, Section 2-202 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. This is an appointment by Mayor Desilme.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Timothy to appoint Charles D. Ernst to the Planning Commission. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote. A resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, appointing Michael McDermott to the Planning Commission by the City Council as an alternate in accordance with Chapter 29, Article 2, Section 2-202 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. This would be an appointment by the Mayor and City Council.
Quick question, Madam Clerk. Is this one in question in terms of alternate or at large?
There is no at-large for Planning Commission.
That's not what it states on
Then you
the,
have to clean out the
right,
website?
on the website, it's,
Okay, well,
there-
okay,
there-
So
There's
if you scroll down on the website, you will see that there are no at-larges.
so you're for planning commission?
Mhm.
So on the website, it actually states that Edwidge Clark is at large, Robert Benson is alternate, and there's one vacant. This is for the planning commission.
Yeah,
There's also, it also states that as a board of board of adjustment, that there is a,
So when you
Alternate
scroll
at-large.
down, when you scroll down, it says the Planning Commission shall be composed of 7 members and 2 alternates. What it's listing here are, as far as the other folks, are how the appointment is by the council at large. But the position is not at large, so they'd just be a member. So now you're either clarifying whether this person is going to be an alternate or whether they're going to be an appointment as a member by the council.
so that was my question earlier.
That's not the question. You were asking the question about whether this would be a person, like listed as an at-large. Because some boards do have what is called at-large.
So in terms of this particular board, so the only thing that Mr. McDermott can be is an alternate to the board. So he cannot be a member. I'm assuming that's not the position that I have available. Well, I didn't have any position available. I just made the nomination.
Well, the way I submitted exactly what you sent to me, and that's what I always do. And so I think that the issue is whether you all want to make the appointment as an alternate or they're just a member. But either way, this person is appointed at large by the council, by the mayor and council.
Oh, I see, she not
Well-
understand.
So now you just have to say that you would be sending the resolution back essentially to the attorney's office for them to correct if you choose not to appoint this person as an alternate.
Could we just make the amendment here? It's
Yeah,
because it's just, so,
But the resolution still has to be edited, correct?
right, and can
Right.
it not be verbally amended?
You can make a motion to amend this.
Yeah.
What I said is that the resolution would just go back.
So again, from my because now I'm confused. Okay, so there's seven, on the planning commission, there are 7 members, right? Each council member picks one, so that's
Correct.
5 of them. And then there's 2 people who
Two
are
at
picked
large
by
and 2
all 5
alternate.
of you. And then there's an additional 2 people who we call the alternates.
No,
So-
that's not what the clerk said.
That's exactly what
Yeah,
this is.
there's the 5 people, each of you pick one. There's 2
Mhm.
people who are still members, but everyone picks them.
Yes,
And
the
then there's 2
at-large.
people who we call the
Alternate.
alternate, yeah. So we're using I think the problem is the way we're using the word at large.
At
for
large,
two
that's what I'm
different
saying.
definitions. So I guess the question is Mr. McDermott one of the 7, or is he one of the 2 alternates?
That was my question, because I believe I heard that there's a board, not this board, Board of Adjustment, there's no alternate or no at large.
That's-
That was a confusion. Which one?
BOA.
There is also a at-large and alternate and board of.
So you saying is the term that
Yeah,
we
we're
are
using
using?
we're using the term at large.
Does
Because
it
in the
matter?
code, there are some boards that actually
Yes,
have a
it
title
does.
at large.
Mm-hmm.
But here in Board of Adjustment and the Planning Commission, we don't use the term, it's not in the code. So we've been using it, I think that's why it appears in the, on the
On the
website.
website,
But
okay.
what it means on the website is that person is one of the 2 people that the entire board.
At
picks.
large.
Yes.
No,
So it needs
that's-
to be referenced.
No, that's
No,
not
but
my
that's not what
understanding.
you
I
just said.
actually served on the Board of Adjustment unless something has changed. There's a difference between being an at-large appointee and an alternate. If you're an alternate when there's not quorum, then you serve.
As the
So this
alternate,
is,
right.
right. So that's why I'm,
Those are the 2.
right.
Right.
So which, the at large?
The at-large can vote at any
Anytime.
time. at
Right.
every
They're gonna be
meeting.
one of the
Right, they
7
can still
people that, there's one of
participate,
7 people
but
that
the
come.
alternates are in the event that there's not a
Right.
quorum. Right. So this is why we were just
So
making sure that,
perhaps the way I set down my communication to the clerk, not knowing the terminology in terms of the at large. So do we already have 2 at large on the commission, or am I able to make a nomination?
So
of
I
an
think what you're
at-large?
asking is not to at large, but more so whether we have the space for a member that is appointed by the council.
Okay, he
Right?
just confused me. He said that there's 5 members appointed by each of us and 2 at large. So we're not
2
using
voted on by the
at large
council.
board.
Right,
Okay.
by the council at large.
Okay, okay. So do I have an open, or can I just? Or I guess any of us could nominate the at
Well,
large.
no, you can continue, you could proceed this way. You're just, I think
Just
all
changing
you
the
would
word.
be saying is that you would, instead of making this individual an alternate,
Make it an
that they would be
at-large.
appointed as a member by
Okay.
the city council.
I think I got it.
but it's a member at large.
It would
Because
be
there's a
it
difference
would be
between
the city
us
council.
appointing and
Should
us
we
appointing
continue
at
this item
large.
so that everybody can have a chance to figure out what they
No.
need
I
to
think
do?
I understand. We'll make the
Right.
change. I think I understand
Yeah,
where we are.
because we
it needs to be
each,
clear.
I can
Yeah.
appoint
No,
someone,
no, it's gonna
but
be a
when we
long
do it
night
as
if
a
we're gonna
group,
argue
that's
over this.
at large.
Right, except the
Right.
term is not used. But yeah, we get it. So Mr. McDermott
Everyone's
is
saying the
one
same
of, is
thing.
one of the,
Okay.
is one of, he's not the mayor's
No.
choice. He's one of the.
What of the
City
choice
council,
that,
right.
But
that I'm
he's
nominating?
Well,
Right.
from what I'm looking at online right now, Mr. McDermott was appointed at large July 13, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And his term ends 5/23/23.
So it's the same thing.
So why do we need
Who
to
did he,
reappoint?
yeah, who appointed him? If you don't mind.
No, it's at large.
It's at large, so the
Oh,
council
okay.
voted for him, so why is he
So,
on?
yeah.
I don't know. I didn't-
Oh, okay.
So, Mr. McDermott, why did you
So
ask? So you're on the
he's
board.
already on the board.
Mike
on
just
the
trying to
board.
just
Thank
have
you.
2 positions. You want
All
alternative
of
at
them.
large, you want
Everything.
everything.
Okay, we got it. Okay,
But
so
it's
that
on
one,
here.
we'll just remove that one completely, that resolution. I'll take
No,
that.
I mean, I think we can proceed with the vote, and
No, but
it would just be,
he's still active now,
He's
He's already on the board.
unless we're just extending it's not May 2023 yet, no?
No.
Somebody gonna be here 2026.
I'll motion that we remove this from tonight's agenda, and if it needs
Okay.
to be upon
We'll
further
do that.
consideration, if it needs to come back to us at the
I
next
second
council
that.
meeting, we can.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on.
I know, I've been. We need to create a mini council.
all right, I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to table this item. And the motion was seconded by Councilman
Actually, I just.
Charles.
Excuse me for a minute. I think I'm going to complicate this. So this probably was extended to 2023. Now that we have an extension to November 2024, that's probably what should be.
Right, but
what
we
should
can't
be
do
done.
that tonight. That
Tonight?
would have
Okay,
to be
that's
right.
fine. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
You-
Consent agenda?
Yes.
Unless a member of the city council wishes to remove a specific item from this portion of the agenda, tabs A through I and the add-on item constitute the consent agenda. These resolutions and items are self-explanatory and are not expected to require additional review or discussion. These items will be recorded as individually numbered resolutions adopted unanimously by the following motion: that the consent agenda comprised of tabs A through I and the add-on item be adopted.
Aye. Can I please be a co-sponsor of the last item, which is IB, or are we calling IA or IB? Or does it matter? When you
They'll need
letter
to
it,
be
okay.
here.
May I please hear a motion on the consent agenda?
So second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the consent agenda. The motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Estimate Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
That's with the friendly amendment to be added to, and this add-on, Mr. Attorney, is just encouraging the city manager to issue whatever kind of communication towards staff. Okay, thank you. Item tab J.
Tab J, a proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, directing the interim city manager to conduct a nationwide search for qualified candidates for the position of the next city manager, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab J.
Tab J, open to the public. Hearing none, tab J is closed. Councilwoman Timothy, this is your item?
Yeah, it is my item, and as I'm looking at the agenda, I noticed that you also put towards the end, so I guess we're, if we want to just discuss it now, we can, or do you want to discuss it towards the end? But this is
You-
just for us to start the
Okay.
process.
Do you, can we just, since I have a discussion, can we pull, what do you suggest, Mr. Attorney?
Could we just take it up together, like during
You could have the
discussion?
discussion now. I mean, if
Or
this-
we can
if
just,
this-
since the mayor had it at the end, we can take
Or
up
you could take it
tab
at the
J
end.
at
It's
the
up
end
to
with
you.
the
Yeah, it's
discussion
up to
item.
you.
No, we'll just take it at the end.
Oh, okay, so we'll move tab J towards the end. Tab K? Madam Manager?
Tab K, a proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the interim city manager to issue purchase orders to SHI International Corp. in an amount not to exceed $89,991 for the provision of the Barracuda Cloud Backup System utilizing General Services Administration GSA contract number 47QTCA 19D00MM, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab K.
Move for approval.
Second.
Public
I
hearing.
know I asked.
Public
Oh,
hearing.
Public hearing, sorry, sir.
Yes, public hearing open. Seeing none, public hearing closed.
I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Estimate Irvin to approve the item at tab K. The motion was seconded by Mayor Desalme. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Tab L, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the interim city manager to issue purchase orders to Innovative Interfaces, Inc. as the sole source provider of Polaris Integrated Library System software in accordance with Section 7-143 of the City Code of Ordinances at a cost not to exceed $74,328 to provide the North Miami Library with the continued use and operation of the Polaris Library Software System platform, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab L.
Move for
Um,
approval.
Well,
Second.
That was my issue last time. I was kidding. Public hearing is now open on the item. Seeing none, public hearing is closed.
I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Estimate Irvin to approve the item at tab L. The motion was seconded by Councilman Charles. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Tab M.
Tab M, a proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the interim city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute a professional services agreement between the city of North Miami and Tetra Tech, Inc. for engineering design, permitting, and construction administration services for the raw water transmission mains replacement project in an amount not to exceed $276,060 pursuant to request for qualifications number 08-17-18, continuing professional architectural and engineering services, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab M.
Public hearing is now open on tab M. Public hearing is closed. I do have two questions. First question, Mr. Strada, how long would this anticipated the time frame?
Hi, good evening. For the record, Alberto Estrada, Purchasing Director. Mr. Mayor, this is a request for the initial engineering portion of this contract. Once the engineering part of this is completed, then we'll move forward to the actual construction of the project. In terms of the overall duration of the project, from engineering, design, award, construction, I believe, if you will allow me, I have the engineer right here, Mr. Ken. If you'd like, Ken.
Good evening, everyone.
Your name?
My name is Ken Caban with Tetra Tech. So the answer to the first part of the design part is 9 months. And then the construction portion is 12 months.
So a year and 3 months, okay. Okay, thank you, sir. I think that answers my other question, the total overall. Any other question?
Move for approval?
Second?
I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Estimate Irvin to approve the item at tab M. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Tab N, a proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency, NMCRA, fiscal year 2022-2023 second amended budget. Authorizing the interim city manager to transmit the North Miami CRA fiscal year 2022-2023 second amended budget to Miami-Dade County. Authorizing the interim city manager to take all action necessary to complete the approval process for the North Miami CRA fiscal year 2022-2023 second amended budget with Miami-Dade County and providing an effective date. Tab N.
All right. Thank you. Any report? Do we have the CRA staff? Yeah.
Good evening, Kevin Crowder, Interim CRA Director. This is the budget amendment that you previously discussed at the CRA meeting to be approved and transmitted to the county to move through the county approval process.
Thank you. Any motion?
Move for approval.
Well, the public hearing, I'm sorry. Public hearing open on item tab N. Public hearing is open. Seeing none coming, public hearing is now closed.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Estimate Irvin to approve the item at tab N. The motion was seconded by Councilman Charles. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you. Tab O.
Tab O, a proposed first reading ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, amending chapter 13 of the Code of Ordinances entitled Offenses at Article 1, entitled In General, by creating a new section 13-6 to be entitled Commercial Activities on Any Public Land Belonging to the City, establishing general restrictions for use of public land, providing for conflict and severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date. Tab O.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This item was drafted on behalf of Councilman. I'm sorry, Councilman Galvin. Sorry. This is. I'm trying to read it and talk at the same time. So this item would prohibit any commercial activities on public land belonging to the city. These activities include 1, retail and wholesale sale of food, such as ice cream trucks, food trucks, beverage, or any other products. Number 2 is vendor or vending or caterer operations. Number 3 is rental of any products or equipment, such as chairs, bicycles, umbrellas, blankets, kayaks, jet skis, sailboats, motorized or unmotorized boats, and 4, recreation programs such as camps, schools, athletic teams, yoga, karate, aerobics, or any other exercise classes or athletic instruction such as tennis lessons, hitting, or pitching instruction. It doesn't prohibit these activities altogether, so long as you have either a franchise or license agreement granted by the city. You can perform those activities. And then we also left a section in, which is Section C of this ordinance, which says that notwithstanding the prohibition set forth above, the city manager or his or her designee may suspend the operation of the section through a special permit. So if there's one of these activities that came to the city, it could request a special permit and still be able to do it. So it doesn't completely prohibit you from doing these activities, but right now it prohibits these activities from being unlicensed and taking place on any public property.
Thank you so much. Before question, and we'll let the item maker speak. Do you wanna? Should we do public hearing and then? Since this is
I just
okay,
wanted
go ahead.
to provide some quick context. I've seen it happen before, and I know it's happening now, where a private business is making money off of city property. They don't have licensure, they don't have agreements. They're making money, and it could happen at any point. You take Cagney Park. If somebody were to just start coming to Cagney Park every month and running their own football league without any agreement from us, without any knowledge of us, without having any insurance that indemnifies the city, that's why I brought this forward, because I don't want to see private businesses of any type simply using city facilities for their own benefit, regardless of what that business might be.
Thank you.
I have a question. You mentioned and special permits. What would that process be like? If
I believe the city already has a special permit process that goes
yeah,
through
could you just
CPND.
tell me what that special permit process is?
If you don't mind, I'll call Derek up, but we
Sure.
do have a special permit process.
Sure. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Through the interim city manager. We do have a special permit to allow for you to operate businesses within the city, which is your certificate of use. You also need a business tax receipt to function as a business within the city.
So it's
But
it's just an application process and
So what that involves is us reviewing whether or not that use can take place within the city.
Mhm.
And if it does, some uses may require administrative site plans, some may require a special exception, which requires approval from the Board of Adjustment to be able to do that use within the city. But ultimately, you would have to get a certificate of use and a business tax receipt to be able to function that in the city. And that requires us to review it, ensure that it does. It involves an inspection by the building department of the site to make sure that there was no work that was transpired at the site that was not building permitted. And once that happens, then they're allowed to operate.
so if I wanted to do horse rides at Cagney Park, and I wanted to do it by way of special permit, what is the process? Would that come go to the Board of Adjustment? Would that come in front of us? What does that look like? What's the time frame?
So to what you're speaking of, Councilwoman, Vice Mayor, forgive me, ma'am, is that we have certain uses that are permitted within a zoning district. A Cagney Park could be zoned public use. It's very restrictive about what type of uses that you can do there, so that if it's not something that is considered a public use, such as a public facility, it even could be a city hall, something to that effect, then it wouldn't be allowed. Specific, if it was just you as a business operator wanting to do a horse riding school there, you couldn't do it because it's not an allowed use. So you would need a special permit, such as a temporary use, which would require approval through the city council, through the city manager, or me, depending on the extent of the time. And then that's a $59 per day special permit. Temporary use is the idea there. That's not something that's intended to be permanent. It's supposed to be happen, done, and you move on to it because the actual zoning district does not allow that use to transpire there.
Okay. If I may.
Yes.
So, because when you got complicated with the BTR, I'm thinking of, you know, a young girl who wants to sell bracelets at a park or,
Right.
you know, vending at Nomi Fest. We don't want to overcomplicate this. Would they still have to go through, like, if it's a food truck at our park, would they still have to go through this temporary use process?
So,
Or is it that just through Parks and Rec?
so if you coupling it with an event at the park, then that's a different beast. But if you're talking about a standalone business that's wanting to come in and operate as such, it wouldn't be an allowed use in and of itself.
And part of the problem with that is that the city's not insured. So if somebody's buying your food and you just pulled up and started selling on city property, somebody gets sick, city's not insured. Obviously, public facilities are made for the public to use, not for a private benefit to profit. There's just a lot of issues in my eyes with leaving our public facilities open for businesses to just come right on in and start selling stuff.
If I may, because I was actually in discussion with Parks and Rec about bringing paddle boards to Bayshore and like what that process would look like. I know another city had started that and just trying to create, you know, maybe some revenue generating to our parks. If I know Parks has a process where, like, let's say you're a trainer, or if you want to bring a program to our park, they go through a process where they fill out a form and they pay a fee to the Parks and Rec department. Is that something similar in this case?
Yeah, so that would be,
Okay.
that's the first part of the ordinance, which is the franchise agreement. So
Okay.
the example I gave during the briefings is, we have a cafe that's run out of the library. That's a private business that runs that cafe, but we put that out to bid, people bid, and someone won, and now they're able to operate out of there. So if you wanted to do something like that, if we were to identify an area in the city that we said, hey, we want to do paddleboarding, kayaking, whatever, the city could put out an RFP, say, hey, we're looking for someone to operate this activity. They would operate that activity. We'd require them to have certain insurances. We'd give them the location. They'd have some certain obligations. They'd have to pay us, you know, some amount, and then they would carry on. But what this prevents is from someone deciding, hey, I like this location. I'm just going to start running my business
Yeah,
here.
because I know there's like trainers at Pepper Park and other parks that, you know, they go through the Parks Department and they do pay.
I thought the public hearing is open.
No, we haven't.
We haven't.
No, we
I
haven't
know.
opened.
Let me open it because I do have a couple comments, and
Okay.
I'll say, I'll say my comments after public hearing. Is seeing none.
Oh, no.
Well, all right.
Don't be shy if you're here on this item.
Don't be shy. Actually, you can sit down and wait till the other people speak. Because I see there's other
too
people
might.
here.
We're trying to get out of here early, Frank, so.
Well, if you wanted to be out of here, you would defer this item, Mayor, and we could discuss it with staff, and
No.
we could sign the city up with our $1 million liability policy, and everything
Well-
would be great. Why don't we do that? And I
Is
won't- I won't waste anybody's
the
time.
clock running on Mr. Rowlands? Because he's already started speaking, so the clock.
Go ahead, Frank, go ahead.
Is this a 3-minute statement
No,
that I
2
get to
minutes.
make? Because I haven't cleared
2
my
minutes.
throat yet.
And
And that's in all due respect, that's because you just started in and started going. If you have something you want to say, please make it germane and, you know.
I guess through the chair. Okay. Does
Yes.
that mean my time is
And
up?
No, we haven't started. And I'll acknowledge former mayor and former city clerk, Frank Wolin. You have, oh God, go ahead. I won't say, it starts.
Please. Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'm Frank Wolin. I think you all know me. I represent South Florida Water Adventures. My clients are here. That's Aaron Jacobs, his partner, Margie Garcia, his brother, Richard Salone. My clients operate a business offering guided nature tours, kayak tours, paddleboard tours, not just in North Miami, but in the Miami River and all around North Bay, snorkeling They rent kayaks, they rent paddleboards. They teach people about the environment. They introduce them to our ecosystem. It's informative and it's fun. They've been doing this in North Miami and elsewhere for about a year. In fact, for the past 4 months, since October 18th, my client has been trying to get a license. And on October 18th, 2022, his license application was approved by staff. So the only thing he has to do to get it issued is have the property that he has now rented inspected so that it doesn't have any defects in the building, and pay the business tax, and then the city should issue his license. But unfortunately, several of the residents who live near Arch Creek, right by the entrance, they have complained to Councilman Galvin. And they don't want my clients using their park. And apparently, Councilman Galvin agrees. And he told staff to hold up issuing my clients.
Mr. Rowland, that's conjecture. Unless you have a copy of that or a recording of me saying that, please don't put words in my mouth.
Council, you can speak when it's your turn.
And your turn has now run out.
Well, not exactly. Mr. Mayor, may I continue?
So 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
So
Rosa,
the city attorney who drafted this ordinance, a new law, he did it for all our parks. Mr. Mayor, at the beginning of the meeting, you said, and I quote, and there is a record, "This is not for a specific area or individual." Isn't that true, Mr. City Attorney? And the truth is that it is. It's just for one area. That's why these people are here to speak. Arch Creek East Environmental Preserve. And it's just for one person, my client. But the city attorney wisely said...
Thank you, Mr. Rowland.
Actually, did you want to speak?
Thank you. Excuse me, Mr. Rowland.
Mr.
Yeah,
former mayor is used to being in charge in this room, but in all reality, we've got other people at the
hold
mic.
on.
Excuse me, this is a public hearing.
Mr. Rowland, I understand, but your time is done. If the gentleman would like to speak after you, he could go ahead and do rightly so. So
That's
the
fine.
next person is
We'll
next.
wait, and
Well,
then
excuse
when
me,
they're done,
Frank,
everyone
I'm
can
running the
speak.
meeting, so I did not appreciate you telling me who's next. After the gentleman, your person may go up. Thank you,
No
sir.
problem.
Go
Thank
ahead,
you.
sir. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you so much for bringing this issue forward. My name is Sam Van Leer. I'm president and founder of Urban Paradise Guild. We have been working at Ace Preserve since 2013. And we've been doing habitat restoration in the preserve the whole time. And it takes a lot of effort to do this. It takes resources, it takes volunteers, it takes plants. And unfortunately, what we have seen, what I have seen personally, is that every time someone starts using the preserve for profit, our work gets destroyed. And that's what's been going on now. So there was a prior kayak rental outfit that destroyed a bunch of the habitat. It never came back. And now it's getting worse again. And it's been notable. So this is something that we will not be replacing. We can't keep planting habitat if people are destroying it. It's simply not okay. It's abusive. So this is an issue that could happen at any of the city's parks. Any park could be abused this way. This is a great example of it. So I ask you, please protect your parks from being exploited and damaged by people who are just in it for the profit. And by the way, I do nature preserve tours. We do education. We do habitat restoration. And we're immersed in it, and we win awards from our educational partners for it. And we're not making a dime. And in fact, we've never ever been paid a dime by the city for our 10 years of work in Ace Preserve. So we will be returning with requests for additional protection. There are other problems in the preserve, but for now, I just urge you to protect all your parks. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry, but Mr. City Attorney, this ordinance wouldn't prevent them from doing the work at the park since they're commercial, or I don't know if they're a commercial entity.
I'm not sure how they're doing the work at the park.
They don't have a license in the city. They don't have permission to be on our property. You know, they have been for a year making money.
No. I'm saying the Arch Creek Preserve, like, would this prevent them? The gentleman.
You mean the gentleman who
You
just
just
spoke?
spoke, yes, Sam. Yeah,
Oh.
Would this ordinance prevent them from doing their work that they're doing at Arch Creek if they're a commercial company working at a park?
Again, I think he just said that he's a nonprofit.
Okay.
And my understanding is we have some sort of relationship with them, but this ordinance is specific to commercial activities.
Okay. Just wanna
But
make sure.
if I may ask one question, Mr. Attorney, from my understanding in here, if they have proper license, they can operate at the park, right?
With the French.
So again, yes, if we as a council, as you as a council, sorry, as we as a government decide that there's a certain activity that we want at one of our properties, we can make that available for any commercial activity. Like I said, you can, just like we did with the cafe at the library. If you wanted, someday someone decides, hey, we want to actually. There's the good one that I heard is the horseback riding over at Enchanted.
Yeah.
That's a commercial activity in our park, but that is a commercial activity that's authorized by the city. I believe we have a franchise agreement with them, so it doesn't say you can't use our parks at all for commercial activity. It's just that we need to be licensed. You have to have the proper insurance, and it's got to be an activity that we as a city deem to take place.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Councilman? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Margie Garcia. I'm with SoFlo Water Adventures. In reference to tab O, it says that we're trying to provide guests and citizens with hospitable, safe, and clean environments for city-owned public properties and for citizens to enjoy. I think there's a misunderstanding with our company. We do provide tours, and during our tours, we do cleanups of the area. If we're possibly able to partner with anyone in the city who wants to join us in providing these cleanups and be able to present youth opportunities, be able to have after-school programs, anything like that, that's what we're trying to do, not just profit from the land. The blocking of the business license has also blocked us from creating these programs that we're trying to use with the city and its residents to enjoy. And speaking of the other park that's available, really, our goal is to clean up any part and enjoy any part of North Miami and its water lines. If we're able to make a bid or work with District 2 to partner for the other park, we will. Our problem is not with Arch Creek East. Our problem is obtaining the license so we can clean up and enjoy the parks as they were meant to be enjoyed. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes?
Am I next?
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Steve Greenwald. I'm a resident in the area. I've been a resident
You got to
for...
state the address.
Oh, yes, 2521 Northeast 135th Street. Did we get the addresses of the previous speakers?
That's what I was just thinking. Have we done that, Gertie? Did your address? Yes, on the record.
Our business address is 1989 and 1991 North 135th Street. Northeast 135th Street.
Thank you.
And the previous two speakers, did we get their addresses as well?
I think it was Frank. Oh, yes. Sir?
Am I?
It has to be on the microphone, Sam. I'm sorry.
Oh,
My address is 1020 Northeast 90th Street, Miami, Florida 33138.
Thank you, sir. Gertie, is that all? And I think Frank is, where is he? He left the room. What's your,
I'm at 12865 West Dixie Highway,
Yes,
but
sir.
actually, my home is at
We know your
12934
home, yes.
Banyan Road, and I have a boat, I have 2 kayaks, I have 2 paddle boards, and I'm very happy that I get to use all the parks and
Yeah.
all the North Bay, and I'm sorry that all of you have to pay rent to do it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well-
Except for Scott. No, you're up the water too.
Yeah, I'm not that rich white guy that lives by the water, but
Here you go, sir. Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, may I please have my clock reset?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to thank the council and the city and all the administrators and managers for doing a tremendous job with the city's fiscal resources. You have done a great job the past couple of years, and we know it and appreciate it. I have lived in the area for over 40 years in North Miami, and this is very impressive. The same thing with Arch Creek East and other parks in the city. Those are resources. They're not fiscal resources, but they're natural resources. Since you all obviously know economics basics very well, because you've done a good job, you've heard of a thing called the tragedy of the commons. This is a very common, well-known economic thing, where if you have an unregulated natural resource, it very quickly becomes destroyed by people using it for their own self-interest. I have nothing against self-interest. That's a good thing, I think. But we need to have regulation. Just like this city has regulated very well its fiscal resources, we need to also regulate the city's natural resources. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, sir. Come on in. We have two mic for
How you
public
doing?
hearing. Yes.
My name is John Famey. I live in Casabella Townhouses at 2539 Northeast 135th Street. I am the second townhouse from the park. I am an avid paddleboarder. I probably paddleboarded there more than anybody. I've lived there for 40 years between there and Keystone. Been on the bay, paddleboarding, windsurfing. I don't have a problem with rentals coming in there if the person is bringing their own rentals with their own vehicle, not a trailer pulling up. I don't know if it's them, but I've seen trailers pull up with a dozen or more paddle boards, or a truck with a dozen or more paddle boards. There's maybe a dozen spots. We got construction going on in Dorset House, the people there are using them. You know, we got people that want to walk through the park, they're lining up the park there. I have cars coming all the way down the street to where I have to ask them to move to get out of my driveway. And not only that, we do not have the facilities. We do not have bathrooms. Trash pickup is once a week. And I've spoke to Scott about the dog issue in there with maybe the poopy stations. We need to put some stations in there because it's all day. You know, people are walking in there with the dogs. I spoke to actually one of the people that, I guess from the city that are dog animal control, and he said dogs aren't even allowed in the park. I'm like, don't even start that battle. Just please put more poopy stations in the park. That's it. And yeah, I want to see people paddleboarding in there. I like to see that, but it has to be regulated. It can't be where you pull up with a bunch of paddleboards and you know they take up all the parking spaces. It just won't work for the neighborhood. It is a neighborhood, and it's right adjacent to the park. And making it a commercial type of situation, it's going to be difficult for the neighborhood. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
How you doing? I'm Aaron Jacobs. I'm the owner of SoFlo Water Adventures. The address 1989-1991 Northeast 135th Street. I'd just like to comment on what he was saying. I rented a location nearby specifically so I could have parking for my guests so they wouldn't have to block up the park. Also, so they would have bathrooms and facilities to use before they went on the water with us. So that's not really an issue. Me not being able to get a license to bring people to my facility is an issue. I've been waiting 4 months to try to get a license. You know, we also want to work with the community to offer cleanups. We're on the water every day picking up garbage, removing tires, removing debris that's inside the mangroves. We do a lot for the community. We're not just there to profit, we're also there to benefit everybody else. I'd like to yield the rest of my time to my attorney.
Okay.
Wait. No.
Well, no.
Hold
He
on.
can't yield his time to me?
No, sorry. We stopped that.
No, Mr. Guys,
But
if you would.
few minutes. If you allow, yeah, Madam Vice Mayor, I'll let the gentleman and then Frank. You'll
Thank you.
have 30 seconds.
Thank you,
Yes,
Mayor.
sir. Sir, you may go. Excuse me, sir. Yes.
So he starts new.
Richard McCano, live 2533 Northeast 135th Street. All the planting that we did with Sam has been trampled because of the businesses. Because of the business, all that we planted 10 years ago has been destroyed. Also, the issue of the parking, there has been, there's not enough parking spaces. So what ends up happening is they park on the no parking bike area, and then the police are called, and all those folks are ticketed by the police. And unfortunately, they can't do anything about it because they were called and they're parked on the, in a bad area, bike area, so they end up getting tickets. And that's not right. It's not fair for the customers to get those tickets because there's not adequate parking. So it complicates a real problem. Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Ricky Solon. I work with my brother Aaron for SoFlo Water Adventures. I think that there is a way to...
Can you please state your address for the record?
What's the address? 1989-1991 Northeast, what? 135th Street. I think that there is a way to help us and help Scott so that he feels better about the community and what's going on. I know that we've also spoken with District 2 about this as well. You know, every day that I go out on the water and I clean up, I talk about the mangroves. People are very happy to you know, to see this, and I think that there's a benefit to that, and that it would also help the people that are calling you as well, Scott. You know, where they would, if they were to see this. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for listening to us. My name is Catherine McDonald. I live at 2600 Northeast 135th Street, apartment 4I and 4D. I just would like to dispel two things. One, I have direct access looking right to the parking lot. And there are, and my ex-husband's going to talk a little bit about the parking issue, but we get a beautiful view of what goes on. And with all due respect, once you go down and take your people, they come back and hang out waiting for Ubers, waiting to get in their hot cars, and we get to watch the public urination, we get to watch the trash, we get to watch the open containers, we get to see all the crap that you don't. Number two, I'd like to talk about the concept that this is just about the entitled Arch Creek people. I get to watch people bring their families on Sundays. They get out of church, they come, they take walks. There's no parking anymore. They are blocking his driveway, which is very far away. There are a lot of people that go biking and hiking, and they can't do that now. There's nowhere for them to go because 20 people 3 times a day go out on that walkway in that area. So it's not just about the entitled people on 135th Street. There are a lot of people that go to that park. People come over and bring their dogs at night, mornings. People take their dates for lunch. They take a break from the office down the street. The guys that work in the car business, they come over. They sit out and have a smoke break. There's a lot of people that enjoy that area and walk. It's not just about us. Thank you.
Excuse me, my name is Christopher Bailey. Address is 2600 Northeast 135th Street. I live directly across the parking area for Arch Creek Park. And I've lived there since 2012. And I've seen that parking area and that park progress, move forward. And I've seen the kayaking and paddleboard operations going on there for quite some time. And I'm also by background an attorney and a land use attorney. And when I saw this going on, I thought, from a land use attorney perspective, I thought, this doesn't work. This is not a commercial area. I'm assuming this guy's not doing this for free. And frankly, this has nothing to do with South Florida Adventures. If it's not him, it's somebody else. It's a vendor, different kind of thing. They're going to go back there and sell food, water. But when I saw that, and finally, it sort of hit a crescendo with me. Sometime around the holidays, and I sent Councilman Galvin an email on January 4th. It was a few days before that. sitting in my balcony. I love to sit on my balcony and overlook, watch what's going on. That day, there were no fewer than 20 people involved with his kayaking thing. I could see them. I counted them. I watched them. They all crowded around him. He was obviously giving them directions. He was handing out personal flotation devices. No less than 20 people were there, and I also counted the vehicles. No less than 6 vehicles, 5 vehicles from his customers and his vehicle. And sometimes he always brings a trailer, and sometimes he leaves his trailer with multiple kayaks and paddle boards, leaves those in the spots. So one day that I counted, there are 13 spots there, 13 spots plus a fourth for handicap spot. He had 6 of the 13 spots filled, and that just doesn't work. And beyond that, the land use area, I looked at the regulations. I sent
30
Scott,
seconds.
sent
Yes,
Scott
sir.
an email real quickly, and it addresses, he has no right to actually, in terms of zoning ordinances, use that property
Thank
for those
you.
purposes.
Thank you so much, sir. Guys, we have 2 mics, so if you are coming,
Thank you
if you
very
are
much.
planning,
Sorry,
thank you,
thank you
sir.
very much.
Thank you. If you are planning on coming up, there's another one. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Mila Bucchino from 2533 Northeast 135th Street, and I do live there. Like, I think this gentleman might not because he didn't know the address, but yes, that's been our home for 20 years. I just wanted to tell you that the volunteers have been working hundreds of hours in removing the invasive species where they are working. We have Australian pines that over the years they have been growing there, and because of them, the actual mangroves cannot grow, and because they snuff them out. Now, what the volunteers have been doing is removing by hand or by chopping them, digging up the roots, removing the invasive species, the Australian pines, and putting in seedlings of little mangroves. We had the mangroves, which were not there because of the invasive species, all of a sudden started to grow and flourish because of the volunteers. And when the people, the customers of the kayakers, not them, but they have customers, they come and they trample the mangroves, and guess what? There are no more mangroves of a natural Florida species, which is one of the rare things that Florida has that most states do not have, is our amazing lush mangroves. And the people, their customers come and they trample on them. They have to trample on them in order to get to the water. There's no other way. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Ivana Kostka. I'm 13504 Northeast 24 Place. I live in North Miami over 44 years. And I'm walking almost every day in the reserve. And I never see anybody, none of these people picking up tires and picking up any papers and any mess that they do. Only thing I see is cooler with beer moving out of their trucks. So I don't know, it's a beautiful place, and by the first bridge going to reserve, we used to plant 12, 13 years ago, mangroves, right over there by the water where they're putting down the kayaks and the boards. It's gone. You just see dirt over there and it's gone. And we put it over there to preserve, the place so we don't, the water, make the area nice. Everything is gone. And the trailer and the cars, when they come over there, it's crazy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, Luis Damper, 2674 Northeast 135th Street. I'm a neighbor right there, like many of them here on the park, right there on the park. I walk every day with my dog there. I seen those guys and other ones bringing the kayak. I don't know them. I just support what they're doing, and I understand what they're fighting for. And more people that get to the park, get to the water, I think that create awareness of using our resources. What limited them? I don't understand that. I mean, here I support the work that Sam does on the park. I don't believe what they're saying, that they're trashing everything and they have done, taken all the work that the plans that they've put in there has been trashed. I don't see that every day. I see what the work they've done, but I don't see those guys doing that. They just pulled the kayaks to the first bridge and put it in the water. What's wrong with that? I don't see them, promoting their activity in the area. And I see a lot of people trashing. I see a lot of neighbors doing trash in there. I walk every day, like I said, in the morning and the afternoon, and it's imagine a lot of people from the neighborhood, they trash the park and they don't take the park. I don't think those guys doing that. So, like I said, I support what they're doing, and I think it's wrong limiting activities in the water. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor. William Jackson, 2015 Arch Creek Drive, North Miami. I live on the water. I'm on the water constantly. I'm a yacht captain. And I see Aaron and these guys all the time. Little beer can, raccoon, Sandspur Island, whatever you want to call the place. Kind of a little bar hangout. Lots of families go out there. And I know these guys as being a positive effect on the environment around here, as well as all of us. Anybody out there, we're constantly picking up plastic. I mean, you should see Beer Can Island this week after the recent west winds, because as soon as west winds pick up, everything out of those canals from Keystone and on over blows over. Beaches lined with plastic. That's all we did today was pick up plastic. But in these guys' defense, I don't know what's going on there with the neighbors. Sounds like you just guys need more parking over there. More parking would solve probably everything, sounds like. But these guys, they're not a bad resource. And bringing people in to experience the parks, that's not a bad thing either. Now, if you guys can figure out a way to make that lucrative for both of you, I think that's the best option, and more parking. I know where they put in. I don't know what work was done. I fished back in there. I mean, there's been kayak slides there for as long as 6 to 7 years that I've been here. So I don't know. But long story short, these are good people. I'm sure these are great people too. That's everybody I've met here is good people. So, it sounds like just better access to the local resource, because like the young lady said that's over there, she says you have tons of people to come down. Well, if there's tons of people are coming down, whether they're there or not, is there really enough resources for all those people? Anyway, done. Thank you guys. God bless.
Anyone else before, Mr. Rowland, you really have 30 seconds. And then we'll close public hearing.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I spoke to staff. They said to my client and to me, we've been waiting for some people like you to come do this. This is great. I invite you, any one of you, to do it. Take a kayak tour, see what we're talking about. See the environment. Give all the people who live in North Miami,
Awesome.
give
Thank
the
you.
school
Thank you, Mr.
children
Rowland.
a
30
chance
seconds.
to see the environment. I'm almost done, Mayor,
Go ahead.
if you don't mind. My client is bringing happiness and light and bringing people to enjoy North Miami's resource. Not a resource for the people that live at the end of Arch Creek. All the people who live in North Miami should get to experience this. And we want to help. And it's unfortunate because this is a law for one place, for one individual. And I again encourage you to direct staff to sit and talk with us, because I've tried to talk with every one of you so that we can work this out and support an ordinance which will let us do what we want, and what's fair for the environment and all the people of North Miami. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rowland. And now public hearing is Go ahead.
Get to speak.
You
Can I
know.
get to speak?
Sure, if
Right,
you have 30
so
seconds.
Just a little bit about me.
30 seconds, both.
Okay, I
because
have
this
a
is getting
special
long.
events
Yes.
company, and I do business in the county. And when I do business in the county, a special event, it gives me a time period. And it only gives me 2 times a year I can do it on that location. If they're gonna do a business, and they're gonna do it once in a while, like, you know, a time period, and over twice a year, that's one thing. But if they're gonna bring a trailer full of kayaks and take all our parking spaces, we're not saying they shouldn't paddleboard or kayak there. It's the way they're doing it. That's what I want to say.
Thank you so much. No, Mr. Rowland. Yes, go ahead, sir.
Christopher Bailey again. Do it by way of a franchise agreement. It's as simple as that. I've been to state parks, national parks, county parks, everywhere, and they have concessionaires left and right, food concessionaires, and they have franchise agreements or some type of agreements rather than just somebody comes on the property and says, hey, I'm at your national park, I'm going to start selling hot dogs. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now public hearing is closed. With the item, if I may, I just have a few words, and I know some of my colleagues, Vice Mayor, I know you wanted to speak on the item, right? Who else?
Isn't this-
Councilwoman, you wanted to speak on the item?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay, so I'll make my remarks real brief. It seems to me there's 2 issues going on, because one, we're talking about a permitting, and then we are talking about the legislation. The reason that I asked Mr. Rowland when you stated earlier, because you mentioned to me outside this was for somebody or company or something, so I was looking for the resolution with the name of the company, and I didn't see that. Let me tell you why I am very in support of this particular resolution. I'm sorry, ordinance. Because the other permitting issue, that's something that you and management, if the city allows it, that needs to be moving forward, because I think we are intertwining the two. Yes, we do want people to come and visit our parks, to play in our park, to stay. That's the purpose of parks and all that goodness. However, I think all of the speakers echoed the sentiment that there has to be regulation, and it has to be permission given by the city. A couple months ago, just a quick example, I happened to be driving, it was about 7 or 7:30 to City Hall from my house. And as I was doing the back road, passing by one of our parks in Vice Mayor Irvin's district, I saw a party was going on. I didn't know what it was. I usually thought that it's city stuff that they had. So, hey, I called the police and I got the assistant chief. I said, hey, is it possible you could do a wellness check? Because I don't know if there's an event going on, whatever the case is. And a few minutes later, he called me back. We had to go and educate the folks that you can't just, go on a property and have some type of celebration, whatever the case is. So when that incident occurred, this is actually the first time, and I saw Angel in the back, that I'm mentioning that it happens more often than you guys probably on the other end probably think that we don't know, because if I don't get a call at least once a month about somebody who's not supposed to be using a park it may be soccer, it may be one of those things, and Ben Franklin is one of the parks that I get calls from the neighbors because it's right across the street. In terms of that, it happens. So I do think that this is good. This is regulation that we must have in terms of somebody want to get a permitting, then we all know what's going on. Police will know. We all will be aware that there is an activity that is happening. The residents will know. We all definitely would be aware and sound of what's happening. I think that's why I'm in favor of the resolution. Now, anything else outside of that, that's an issue that you guys need to mentioning to staff and the interim city manager in terms of the permitting, if we allow it. If Parks and Rec doesn't, because I'm hearing all of these, and these parks are managed by Parks and Rec, it may be an activity. I didn't even know that they do kayaking at the park.
Not supposed to be.
Oh, I didn't know it happened.
But can an individual citizen go and kayak by themselves, or no? Well,
yeah.
because I've seen kayak at Griffin once. And I was
Yeah, I
like, what?
think I don't know if we try and the idea. Well, from reading this, yeah, we just need to know in terms of you know, what's happening with the ordinance. You know, I think getting permission and folks know, and it's a use that the city allows, is very important to me. That's why I would be in favor of this resolution. Yes, Vice Mayor?
So, I too share this sentiment. It's not, for me, it's not, I wouldn't be supporting this item against anyone, just having regulation. Now, here's my follow-up question. My follow-up question is, I'm hearing now, and it looks like separate, what is the issue? You said 4 months, you put that. I guess I would want to know from staff, what is the holdup? What can we do to make sure that they are legal, I'm going to say, you know, and they can do what it is that they need to do. We just want to know, we want to make sure that you have the proper insurance. We want to make sure that we can allow that. That's all. But voting, you know, I'm not voting for this against you. I'm voting for this for regulations across all parks altogether. I just want to say that I want to be supportive of that.
Vice Mayor, to your question, yes, they did submit their certificate of use, and there's an inspection process, and we are a little behind, but I will get on this tomorrow to find out what the status is of that particular inspection for the certificate of use, and then the next step is to get the BTR. So you're right, it's two separate things, making sure that they have a certificate of use and a BTR to operate their business, but I think the issue of it is the matter of where they're operating that business.
Right. So to echo what the manager just said, and this is what came up during the discussion when we were talking about this legislation.
Sure.
The BTR and the CU is completely different. They are perfectly, it's perfectly legal to have a business at their location where they have people come and rent kayaks and go wherever you want to go. You can go to Alito State Park, you can go to your backyard, you can go wherever it's legal to launch that kayak. This has nothing to do with that. What this is about is protecting our parks. Whether you have BTR, CU, whatever, you can't conduct a commercial activity in our parks. That's what this is about. So I wanted to make sure, that's what we were talking about, that that delay that they've had has nothing to do with this.
So even if they get legal, they could not. So what would they have to do to be able to conduct business in our parks? Like you said?
We would have to have a franchise agreement and say, the city would have to make the decision that kayaking is something that we want to do in one of our parks. We would probably put out an RFP that says, hey, we're looking for vendors to carry on this activity. We'd go through a normal procurement process. And if that's what if the council wants, then we would award that to someone. That's how you would be able to do it. But the BTR and CU is completely different from this. I want to make sure that was clear.
Okay. Are we good on the item? Question, Councilwoman?
Oh, yeah. No, for me, I know, like, I've been in discussion with parks and looking at ways to create activities at our parks. And I do agree that we should not allow, you know, commercial use on our parks without some type of approval. What I don't want to do is, what I would hope what we can do here is maybe provide a less complicated route to go. It doesn't have to be so strenuous where, you know, it's just, you know, I don't want anything going before a board, or if we have to like approve every little thing. Like, I don't have to approve a Girl Scout, you know, troop selling cookies at our parks from a, you know, from here with the franchise agreement. So that's the only thing. I know there's a special permit process. Okay.
So again, I mean, I mentioned the different ways that someone can use our park, but you know, Mayor Desiree pointed out there was I think it was District 4 a couple of years ago, where someone rented. So you can rent our parks for different things, and I don't think that that's a hard process. My wife just rented one of the Scott Galvin Center for an event. It's not hard to do that, but the problem we're trying to prevent is, I mean, from what I remember in District 4, it went from a party to like a carnival. I mean, they had, remember that? They had rides and all sorts of stuff, and you know, so when this came up. You know, I know it came up with the kayaking, but in my mind, I can tell you from in the 6 years that I've been here, there have been other things, which is why this is not specific to kayaking. It's about all of this, because there's been numerous issues that have come up. I mean, we've had calls where people were doing photo shoots in the middle of the preserve. I mean, there's been a bunch of these things. So this addresses all of that.
Like the Tai Chi, like other
it addresses
workout
all
classes.
of it.
I just want to make sure that we have a process
Like
that is
we-
not so strenuous, you know, to.
And I think they go through parks as long as we know about it. Parks know, we all aware. what's going on. And I do like to point out, someone who had mentioned earlier about this just came out into one. As legislators, that's what we do, in terms of, we get ideas, based on residents' feedback, on public feedback, and it may be in the middle of the night, you get a call from somebody, and you have to call the attorney who sent out an email, hey, can you draft this legislation for me in reference to that? So in terms of that, this has been going on, like I said, for years, and I have had several back and forth with Parks and Rec about people just using it, and then it's like they told somebody, or somebody that, you know, so when I saw this, I did not know this is a meaningful legislation that we probably should have regulated a couple of years ago, because it's needed. So with that being said, may I hear a motion?
If I may.
Yes, I'm sorry, Councilmember.
I
go
know,
ahead.
one thing I want to add is that this ordinance does not just not limit to that one part. It's basically going to help out citywide, which is a good thing. So it doesn't stop you guys, South Florida, from doing your operation. But the only thing that I said in here, we need to have some legal basis for you guys to operate in the city. So, and I think we all agree with that. And this is a very good start for our city and all our public facilities. So we can just move on, and we know we have a system in place that we can regulate our parks. So I think it is very neat and clear. So it's not one side against the other one. So it's basically putting some regulations.
Oh, and I got the terminology. It's called a concessionary contract agreement. That's what Parks have.
All right now.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you. Is it roll call? Is this a
Move
resolution?
approval of the item.
So moved. Can I add as a co-sponsor of this, Madam Clerk?
Yes. I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab O. The motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Estimate Irvin. Vice Mayor Estimate.
Actually, it was seconded by the mayor.
That's fine. They could say it's Vice Mayor.
The motion was seconded by Mayor Desume. Vice Mayor Estimate Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Charles, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Desume, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you.
Tab P. A proposed first reading ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, amending Volume 1, Goals, Objective, and Policies of the City of North Miami 2036 Comprehensive Plan, specifically by amending the official 2036 Future Land Use Map to extend the boundary of the Special Development and Transit-Oriented Development SDTOD Overlay District by 2 parcels of real property totaling approximately 2.24 acres in size, located at 2025 Northeast 143rd Street, FOIA number 06-2221-027-0010, and a vacant parcel located in northwest quadrant of Northeast 144th Street and Northeast 20th Lane, FOIA number 06-2221-0006-0130, to encourage compact, mixed-use, transit-oriented development in accordance with Section 166.041, parentheses 3, parentheses C, Florida Statutes 2022, and Sections 3-1002, 3-1003, 3-1005 through 3-1007, and Section 3-302 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29, entitled Land Development Regulations, declaring this future land use map amendment to be consistent with the city comprehensive plan. Further, authorizing the city manager to do all things necessary to effectuate the zoning map amendment, providing for repeal, conflict severability, codification, and for an effective date. That's tab P.
P as in Paul.
Yes.
Okay, any presentation on tab P?
Good evening, Mayor and Council, through the interim city manager. Tab let me see, in Q are sister items. So,
Question, can we read that, Mr. Attorney, into the record just as one?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
I think
thank you.
that's what you suggested.
Madam Clerk, and then Derek, you could go ahead and make a short presentation.
Tab P, Tab Q is a quasi-judicial item, first reading. Ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, amending Chapter 29 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances entitled Land Development Regulations at Article 1 entitled General Provisions, specifically at Section 1-106 entitled Official Zoning Map, to extend the boundary of the Special Development and Transit-Oriented Development, SDTOD, overlay district by 2 parcels of real property totaling approximately 2.24 acres in size, located at 2025 Northeast 143rd Street, FOIA number 06-2221-027-0010, and a vacant parcel located in the northwest quadrant of Northeast 144th Street and Northeast 20th Lane, FOIA number 06-2221-006-0130, to encourage compact, mixed-use, transit-oriented development in accordance with Section 166.041, parentheses 3, parentheses C, Florida Statutes 2021, and Sections 3-1002, 3-1003, 3-1005 through 3-1007, and Section 3-302 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29, entitled Land Development Regulations, declaring this zone map amendment to be consistent with the city comprehensive plan, further authorizing the city manager to do all things necessary to effectuate the zoning map amendment, providing for repeal, conflict, severability, codification, and for an effective date. That's tab Q.
Thank you so much. Derek, please, go ahead, sir.
good evening, Mayor and Council. Through the Honorable Interim City Manager, Derek Cook, with Director for Planning, Zoning, and City Community Development. Thank you, Madam Deputy Clerk. The items that you have before you are item P and Q as stated. Item P is the land use map amendment, and item Q is the zoning map amendment. Item Q is a quasi-judicial item for your consideration. So as stated here, this is simply an extension of the SDTOD, which is the Special Development and Transit-Oriented District. You have two parcels that are located on the west and east side of Northeast 120th, of 20th Lane. These are part of the desert properties. You have, it's through the map you see on your east side, the building that is to this north of the highlighted parcel. This is part of the desert land complex. The parcel that is across the street is an open lot that is belonging to the desert. If you may recall, in September of 2021, this item came before you, and we extended the SDTOD area to include 3 other parcels that are owned by the Desert LLC. So as stated here, what you have here is that land use amendment, as was stated by the Madam Deputy Clerk. This is approximately 2.24 acres located on, like I said, on Northeast 20th Lane. The current zoning and land use is, you have the land use amendment, which is considered use industrial, lab, and hotel, and wholesaling. And you have the zoning, which is also industrial. The extension of the SDTOD would allow for these properties to have a maximum height of 200 feet with a density of 150 units per acre. If council approved this SDTOD application that, the Planning Commission approved this application at its September meeting in 2022 for this extension. Also took place at its zoning, at that same meeting was the approval of this item for recommendation. Both votes were to a 6-0 in favor of extending this overlay district. if council seems fit to approve this items tonight, you have second reading and be scheduled for the 14th of March. And after that reading, the item will become effective 31 days after that date. And that is for the land use. As it relates to the zoning change element, it would be within less time than 30 days. But since the land use trumps the zoning, we'll have to wait. Are there any questions?
No, sir. No. Public hearing is now open on both items, tab Q and R.
Mayor, may I do the swearing in for?
Sure, if anyone, I don't see none. I do not see Mr. Pizzi getting up. No, I don't see him. So we good. Nobody's here. Oh. God.
If you are giving testimony today on the item at tab Q.
Raise your hand. Yes.
If you are giving testimony today on the item at tab Q and R, please raise your right hand and as I issue the oath. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give in these proceedings is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say aloud, I do. Thank you.
Does Mr. Pizzi want to make a presentation?
We were waiting
I just want to say
a grand entry.
briefly, Michael Pizzi, 6625 Miami Lakes Drive. I'm the attorney for the Deza family. My presentation is, number one, happy Valentine's Day for all, and thank you for spending your Valentine's serving the community. It shows how dedicated you are.
I just want to spend my Valentine's Day with you.
There you go. It's an honor. Where else would I spend my Valentine's Day? But I just want to note that, number one, we fully support your excellent staff and staff's report and your planning commission report. So on behalf of the Deza family, we thank your staff and the planning commission. We support this planning commission report. We support your staff's recommendation. And
Thank you, Mr. Pizzi.
And
Thank
we
you.
ask you to support this. Thank you.
Board members, public hearing is closed. Yes, sir.
The reason I'm enthusiastic about this project, one of the reasons is that it's in the industrial area, so if we're going to allow some higher density, this is the place to do it. It's not abutting any residential areas. It's right near where the Brightline train at 151st Street will be. It makes absolutely logical sense all over the place to, make a higher, better use of the property. So I'm in favor this evening.
Okay. Any other members? Okay.
Move approval.
Second.
Right. I'm gonna do the tab P first.
Yes.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab P. The motion was, who seconded the motion?
I did.
The motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Estime Irvin. Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Estime Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Charles, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Desume, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion carries with a 5-0 vote. For tab Q,
Move for approval.
Second. I didn't second, it was Councilman.
Charles. I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Estime Irvin to approve the item at tab Q. The motion was seconded by Councilman Charles. Councilman Charles, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Estime Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mayor Desume, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Tab R.
Valentine's Day. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you.
A proposed quasi-judicial resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving a tentative plat application submitted by Propco JW LLC entitled Tentative Plat Biscayne Bay, North Miami, for 3 parcel of real property located at 1660 Northeast 127th Street, Miami-Dade folio number 06-2229-007-0170, 12600 Northeast 17th Avenue, Miami-Dade folio number 06-2229-007-0320, and at the southeast quadrant of North East 17th Avenue and Northeast 127th Street, Miami-Dade FOIA number 06-2229-007-0010, and totaling approximately 3.3 acres in accordance with Article 3, Division 8, Section 3-802 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances and Chapter 28, Section 28-7, parentheses B, of the Miami-Dade County Code of Ordinances, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab R.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Derek Cook with the Community Planning and Development Department, to the Honorable Interim City Manager. The item before you is a tentative plat for the Biscayne Bay North Miami. If you recall, this item became before you for a conditional use permit that allowed for the approval of 450 units on this site. This is the first step of them combining the 3 lots into one. At the January 3rd meeting, the Planning Commission recommended approval of this tentative plat with a 5-to-1 vote. Staff is not in opposition of it. This will be, at its next step, will be transmitted to Miami-Dade Plating and Traffic Review. And then after that, it will be returned to us for final plat to be determined once their review is done with Miami-Dade County.
What's across the street, right?
Any questions?
Move for approval.
Hold on, public hearing on the item. Well, nobody was swearing in. Okay, public hearing now closed.
Second.
Okay.
I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Estime Irvin to approve the item at tab R. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. Mayor Desulme, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Estime Irvin, how do you
Yes.
vote? Councilman Charles, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Estime Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes again?
You mean Timothy?
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
It's still
Motion
early.
carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you so much. Is this your item? Okay. Maybe we'll get out of here by 9:15. That was the goal. Next item.
Yeah, J.
No, I think the resolution.
Tab J. A proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, directing the interim city manager to conduct a nationwide search for qualified candidates for the position of the next city manager, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab J.
Do I go?
Yes, you may go.
Oh, I know. Sorry. During the last council meeting, I know Vice Mayor mentioned that, we should start the process of research. Didn't realize the mayor would also be discussing this item. Just wanted to make sure that we had it on the agenda to discuss it as a council, to begin the process of interviewing and preparing for a city manager.
Is that, Mr. Attorney, since Councilmember Timothy, and thank you so much for the item, Councilmember, if hers is a resolution, mine is a discussion, can we, how do we move? Just go ahead and discuss my discussion?
Yeah, I think
or
there's a discussion, and
Yeah,
you
it's like-
leave
it's the same thing,
I got
yeah.
you.
decide
Okay.
some alternate,
That's why I just wanted to make sure.
Like, whatever process you had
Awesome.
in your head,
Thank
I'm
you so
okay
much, Councilmember. And on the item, let's open public hearing, since it was an item that was moved into that. And seeing none, public hearing is closed in terms of that. I think since, the beginning of the year, I think it's all of us, and we just echoed that in the CRA meeting, that we had that stability in what we need in terms of moving forward as a city. As we know, background real quick, the last city manager, last day officially was February the 5th. And since then, the council appointed interim city manager, Ms. Daniel. And now I think the process that I would like to, when I saw this item in particular coming, and I do know exactly where you're coming from because it was mentioned in the CRA, but I do have someone I would like to put in mind in place and discuss that nomination in terms of our permanent city manager, someone that I know that we know the city knows very well when we talk about stability. That comes in mind, the smartness and everything in terms of moving the city forward. And the culture I think we had talked about in terms of at the ceremony, the induction ceremony and everything in terms of moving projects and things forward, North Miami as one. So I would like to nominate Ms. Rasha Kamo as our next permanent city manager moving forward.
I'll second that.
So, again, staying consistent with what we talked about in our CRA, board CRA, and how we've done it in the past, I'm in favor of process, and I think typically you are, Mayor. I understand that you may have a preference, but I think we should do a national search. After you do your search, if the person that you just nominated is the person that you still want, and that would be obviously our privilege to say for you to say whatever, but I would rather that we go to a process. We do it 30 days. I'm okay with doing a 30-day process, similar to what we're doing at the CRA. And then at that time, we would make a decision. But I think it's premature and to make that decision. My opinion is that it's premature to make that decision. And just to be consistent with what we are trying to do is let's have a process. Let's vet people out. And then after we vet it out, if this is still the direction we want to go in, I think we should go in that direction. So that would be my recommendation.
Thank you, Council Member. Well, I do think that we are a political body. I don't know if consistency, especially when it comes up here, in terms of we try to be as much as we can. But in terms of that and being real honest and open, I think everyone kind of knew the process. Because we've been through it in several times. That's why I'm trying to think of someone that we would not need in terms of a search, someone who has proving themselves in terms of running the CRA, and I think in terms of the confidence level that where we are, and we could, that's the nomination in terms of that. I don't know if 30 days or whatever amount of days, or 2 days, would satisfy in terms of what it is. Again, it's a political body. It's a political situation that we do. So,
Mr. Mayor,
remember,
yes, please.
Since
go ahead.
I know this was my item, I don't know where we're at with the item or discussion. But if
go
we
ahead.
could, I too think that we should, in all fairness, allow the process to unfold. We should kind of, if it's not March 14th, if it's February 28th, we, give the council some time to maybe interview this individual, because I haven't appointed a city manager, but I do recall my conversation with Ms. Camo when she was leaving the city as the executive director, and how that, where she was, I was ready to leave the city. And knowing that a city manager,
The CRA.
No, she was ready to leave the CRA. And knowing that there were other opportunities coming forth in the next couple of months, and it was very clear that she wanted to leave. So I would want an opportunity to interview that individual, to talk with her, to see what her vision are for the city, and if we could maybe delay this or push it back to maybe the 28th, so that I can have a discussion, because I am familiar with Ms. Camo, but I too would want to have an opportunity to sit down and discuss that process with her.
And I appreciate that, and then Councilman Galvin, but I think all of us do have, known her or worked with Ms. Camo in terms of that, but we have a name
all of
on
us except for one.
I'm sorry?
All of us except for one,
Who?
just for the record.
Who?
Our new appointed
No, he
councilman.
worked with, I think,
Yeah,
the CRA.
I was in the CRA advisory board, so I was with, work with Ms. Camo for some time while I was serving on that board.
Yeah, I think with Women's Month coming up, we are in Black History
don't do
Month.
that.
No,
Don't
I'm
do that
not,
to
because
me.
because that's not even me, because
Right.
I'm not going to, but
Yeah.
I'm making the point to say, it wouldn't matter, I think, if it's, I think we all here are familiar with the resume, just like when I made Ms. Daniel, you know, everybody knows the resume. It's really a rather decision. Either you are or you're not, and let's just move forward. It is what it is, and I've gone through this, and I know you've gone 100 times. So, but
Technically, this is number 13.
so you know, it's you know, it is what it is, and we have a city to run, and time is moving fast. In terms, we not only a city, but you also have a CRA, which we appointed an interim earlier today, and we said we would rush that process, which I agree that we need some type of stability, but I don't know if searching 30 days or whatever the case is, but Councilman Galvin.
I'm super excited to hear you put her name in because, let's be honest, there's no right or wrong way to choose a new city manager. And like I said earlier, I've done it so many different ways. Look, this is somebody who we all know, who is smart as a whip, who is connected down at the county, who won't lose any time trying to figure out, you know, the landscape of the city. She knows the residents, they know her. If we can get Ms. Camo, this is a huge, huge victory for the city. I'm excited to support the mayor's
Thank you.
So
suggestion.
I would just like to state on the record that I will not be supportive of it, not because of the individual, but because of the process. And I have done that in the past. If you remember our former now executive director, I actually was one that encouraged him to go through the process, but I did not support him when there was not a process. So I just want to put that on the record.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about now.
Mr. Shiver.
Mr. Shiver. So I just want to put on the record that I will be voting no. I prefer that there's a process that we give an opportunity. Mr. Mayor, if you remember when we did the selection for the city manager before, you were like, oh my God, there were so many good resumes. Wow, maybe we can.
You did,
So, and that
yes.
happens, you understand? And I understand the urgency of getting us on track, and I have a problem with that. I don't think 30 days is last time we did a 6-day process. I think a 30-day process is reasonable, but I understand that we have to work as a majority. No, listen,
Yes,
we're going to
I
make this
agree.
short, please. We have to
No, no,
work.
take your time.
We, you know, the majority is going to prevail, and that's fine. But I'm just going to put on the record that I'm not going to be supportive of this. I will always work with whoever comes here to the city to move and to take care of North Miami business. I
And-
just want to say that my vote on that matter would be a no.
And
Yeah,
Mr.
and-
Mayor, if I may, if we could maybe continue this item to the 28th so that I can just have an opportunity to speak with her, and then, you know, from there, you know, my support may have changed, but right
Well,
now, I'm
let me do
also
that.
not.
Yeah, I wouldn't, and I'm just saying this honestly. I know, like, we like the word, you know, the process would come up, but I honestly think, you know, a couple weeks from now, whichever, you know, we all know who the person is, so, you know, either we're voting or we're not. I think that's what this is about, and we just kind of move. We agree to disagree. Like Scott said, I'm excited. I thought it would be.
No, I'm not saying that I'm
to,
against Ms. Camo.
no,
I'm
so
saying I
this
would
is
just
what I
want
would
an
propose.
opportunity to interview her, because I remember the conversation when she left.
Yes, when she left.
And I know that Kava, you know, is someone who said no to Rob.
Yes.
Yeah. So I
And-
just want to make sure that we are not
in good
shooting ourselves in the foot by taking
yes,
her.
and I think when I spoke to her about offering her that position, I shared the same sentiment in terms of that. But I do believe if you're talking about the 28, I think contract negotiation will happen. So you have ample time in terms of if you decide to support the person or not. So I don't think that, because this, like you said, and I do respectfully see your point in terms of moving it in 2 weeks, because you will have the time to interview, and we have another, because I would expect the next council meeting, we have the agreement will be ready for the start as soon as we can. So in terms of that, my goal, if I could have it, it would be, you know, as soon as possible. So that's my motion, and I think both.
I seconded it.
I have a motion made by Mayor Desulme to Nominate Ms. Rasha Kamo as the next city manager. The motion was seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries with a 3-2 vote.
Congratulations, Ms. Camo. You in the back. You want to say any few words?
Oh, she was already.
Yes.
Hiding back there with the mask on. I didn't realize.
It's not that late, so it's more. Yeah, there we go. No. She said, well.
Good evening. Sorry, I'm fighting a cold. That's why I'm wearing
Oh,
a mask.
yeah. That's not.
Thank you so much. I am honored and humbled by your consideration to allow me to be part of the family again. So thank you very much. And I look forward to speaking to Councilwoman Timothy and Councilwoman Estime Irvin in the
Vice Mayor.
future. Vice Mayor, I apologize. Vice Mayor Estime Irvin in the future. Thank
Awesome.
you.
You would want to talk to her in the back, or you good? Oh, okay. Okay. All right, thank you. Well, I guess we are real quick. Council report we got for congratulations again, ma'am. Vice Mayor, I'm sorry. We'll do Vice Mayor, Councilwoman, Councilman Galvin, and Councilman Pierre. Maybe we'll start. I don't want you to think that we keep forgetting you, because that was my seat. That was my seat for many years. Well, no, I was here.
No, one thing. No, I remember that was your seat.
Yes.
Because
no.
whenever I come in here for the CRE for the CRE meeting, I usually sit here.
I think I was over there.
And that's your name right there. And then I don't know how you keep on forgetting about me.
No, you're not. So you know what? We'll have him go first, if that's okay, council members.
No, I just want to say happy Valentine's Day to each and every one of you. Those of you who are at home and here, say congratulations. We're going to have time for you because I know you want to say a few words. Say congratulations to Miss Carmo for being our new city manager. So, I am waiting for a lot. When it comes to D4, if you think that mayor was kind of, always in the forefront, you got a new player, and then I am on the move, and then there is no time to waste. We gotta hit the ground running. I have a lot of complaints in D4, and I need them to be addressed ASAP. So we got to get to work, and I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Those of you who are at home, I just want to tell you that I'm here and I'm ready to go. Now we have a city manager, so we got to get it done, and it is going to be as soon as possible. So tomorrow is the day, so we'll get started. Thank you very much, and have a good night.
Is it me now?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. So happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Happy Black History Month. Before I go into, happy Black History Month. Tonight is Valentine's Day, so I will be next council meeting going to more details about just reminding us about Black history and its importance. But in the meantime, I'd like to continue to celebrate Black history right here in North Miami. Every year, I make sure that we recognize our first Black councilman, which was Duke Sore. We recognize our first Black woman, which was Marie-Ellen Sterrell. Recognize our first Black clerk, which was yours truly, Alex Dezume, at the time, at the elect clerk. And there are so many other Black persons that are first trailblazers in our city. So as we celebrate it nationally, I just wanted to highlight some of those people, and I'll get into more of the history and why it's so important and how we went from Negro Week to Black History Week and all of that. But in the spirit of Valentine's Day, I'm going to keep it shorter than usual. So I just want to also thank all of our sponsors that participated in our bike ride and that make it such a successful every second Saturday of the month. I want to thank you, Mike McDermott. I just thank you personally for just always being there to support Team of Hope, Knights of Columbus, the Czechoslovakia Cultural Club, thank you so much. Also, for Women's Month, May 4th, we're going to have Run, Know Me, Run. And I'm sorry, March 4th,
Now,
March
wait a
4th,
minute.
March 4th, March 4th, March 4th. Thank you for the correction. Run, Know Me, Run. And so, and what is so special about this run is all of the proceeds will go to our North Miami Educational Foundation. And everyone that knows me knows that our youth, they're our present actually, but they're our future. And so anything that we can, anytime that we can elevate and do anything for our youth, and that particular foundation provides scholarship for our students, whether to go to college or vocational school. So this is a good cause. So maybe even if you're not going to run, you should just register so that your
what I was
funds
saying.
would
Can I
go. But you
walk?
should, no, well, actually it's a run and walk. So
Okay.
you should, I encourage all my colleagues to participate, please. Save that date, March 4th. And so that's all that I have tonight. Just remember to, make every day a Valentine's Day, but today especially, outside of your actual significant other, talk to a neighbor, a senior, and just let them know that you care and you love them. And that's all that I have for tonight. So I yield back my time, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. District 2, then
Just wanted to and thank everyone who's been donating for Random Acts of Kindness Month. Last month, we were able to donate blankets, socks, and goodies to all of the nursing homes in the city. So that is going on all month long. And thank you to those who've donated. Just wanted to take a moment to thank Mr. Cornelius Schreiber for serving as our North Miami Executive Director. I've learned a wealth of knowledge under your short tenure at the North Miami CRA. I look forward to working with our interim Executive Director, Mr. Kevin Crowder and Annabelle Emmanuel, to continue to push our CRA forward. And lastly, welcome back, Rasha.
Mr. Mayor, if you would allow me to just add, Miss Anisha Daniels, thank you so much for your short term as our, interim, but I could tell, I'm sure you can tell that it's a lot of work, but I thank you for the service that you've done. Thank you for being there for us. Really appreciate you.
you have the floor.
So I'm going to share a personal story here tonight. I don't know if any of you know this at all, but I'm adopted. And in 1969, my parents brought me home from the adoption agency on Valentine's Day.
Oh, happy
So I've always said to my mom and dad, dearly departed dad, that was the day they brought me home from the store. So even though my dad's not with us anymore, there's an off chance because my mom's really weird and she watches these. So I just want to say happy Valentine's Day to my first and best Valentine, sorry, Eric, my mom.
Aww. Are we done?
I'm done.
We need to party. Well, I didn't even go, but you try to. Happy, I know, we do, I'm sorry. Happy Valentine's, which I mentioned, congratulations, Ms. Camo, and all of the wonderful things Tracy had mentioned, communication earlier. It's happening this month so much, but we try to get out of here before 9:15. Citizen Forum is officially open.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here today basically talking about basically the food ordinance.
Can you state your name and address
Oh,
for
yeah.
the record, please?
Yeah, Stephen Francois, basically a resident of North Miami. I stay at 12200 North Miami Ave. So basically, I'm here to talk about the food ordinance that you guys basically disapproved in 2021. I would like to see if you guys can call to reopen that situation, because basically I feel like the city of North Miami basically is more prone to food trucks. Like they enjoy stuff like that, because basically food trucks are located so far in Wynwood and people come to our area in North Miami and are enjoying it. So basically our situation right now, we did not know. So basically we got a Florida permit for the state of Florida. We thought we was good, but we did not know North Miami had a situation where we aren't able to park food trucks in our area. And my mother and father basically started it together. And now the store owner gave us permission to park in there, but we just found out that wasn't enough. So basically we're trying to see if we can call to bring this back on the table to get the community involved in this, because basically I feel like a lot of people wants the food trucks in the community, because we even did like a vote, like a what they call that? I don't know what the website was called, but we took a vote from the community and we got like 300 votes, and it was basically telling us, yeah, we definitely want food trucks in the area and stuff. And basically I'm trying to see if we can bring that back to on the table, because I feel like times are changing. This is not like the old days, and I feel like people want food trucks. Like, it's a younger community. I don't know if y'all know this, but it's like real younger community out there. So even my mom, like the people who shop with her, is basically majority like the younger kids and stuff. They're the ones shopping with her. And thank you for your time.
So you calling us old?
Oh no, I'm not.
Thank you so much.
No, thank
Anyone
you,
else?
thank
Mike, come on up. We have two mics.
With the
If you are
food-
coming up to speak, please come forward. We have two mics.
Mr. City Attorney, with the food truck ordinance we passed, I thought there was a process that
There
we,
is a
for
process.
commercial,
Yeah.
if you want to park on a commercial
Yeah, I
property.
was going to suggest that he
Yeah.
talk to one at the end.
Yeah,
Because
so
I'm not sure what.
Yeah.
So
I'm not
Derek,
sure.
if you can please begin, yeah. Oh,
So food trucks are allowed, they just have to go through a certain process. Is that
Process.
accurate?
But they cannot park those. That's not good. Yeah.
Excuse me, Derek Cook. So we do allow for food trucks, but in the M1 district, industrial,
Yeah.
in concert through administrative site plan, and they have to have the same operating hours as their business.
Yes.
What the citizen was speaking of when we
That-
originally brought that up,
That's not what. That's fine. I
and
think we.
so
yeah.
and then we allow them with a mechanical car wash in the C1 area, and that's it.
And that's been problem. To be honest with you, the car wash
Yeah.
part, but that's a whole different conversation. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Emanuela Francois. Everyone calls me Lucy, though. I'm the one that started I started the social media page for my mother, Zolady Cooks. Oh, sorry, I didn't give my address. 12200 North Miami Avenue. I started the social media page for my mom, Zolady Cooks. We're at about 10K followers right now. The word that he was looking for earlier was petition. We did start a petition just to hopefully present to you guys, to show you guys that we do have like a community behind us, supporting us. They really enjoy our food. And basically, we want to call for like a regulation to allow more food trucks in the city of North Miami, because like he said, times are changing. Restaurants are great and all, but we're getting to an age where people they don't like to do too much. A lot of the restaurants are further out. We're right in the community, so people are easily able to access these items. And yeah, I think I got all my points across.
What's your
At least most of them.
Instagram?
Zolady Cooks.
Z-O Lady Cooks?
Yes, ZOELADY Cooks. It's on the back of his shirt. Oh, also in the front. And yeah, check it out. You guys should check it out. And hopefully you guys get to try us out one day. You guys would really enjoy it.
Thank you. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Good evening. My name is Francois Luxi. My address is 12200 North Miami Ave. I'm a citizen of this community for 30 years, more than 30 years. I always here to support. When they have election, I'm the first one always able to go get people to go vote. Even the mayor, I always go get people for the mayor to go vote.
Me?
Yes,
This
you
mayor?
know.
Oh, I
you
didn't
know
know
that,
that. Oh,
Mr.
well,
Mayor.
thank you.
You know that.
No, I didn't.
I spoke with you. You went to my house. We talk about it. You see, you
Which
know
way? Which? When was this?
122. When you was the concealment.
Oh, years ago.
Okay.
Right? No, I'm asking you. Was it years ago? I don't
No, but probably you remember. But
no, I'm trying to remember. I mean, I know the address is by Gratney, but I'm saying.
But guys, I would like to ask you for a favor, because we really need it. I leave my job where I used to work. I leave it because in this we try to have the food truck to survive. But at this moment, I don't have no job. The reason why we created this, because we need to grow. We don't need to stay down all the time. You know, the situation of black, they always keep the black down. The black never go up. We try to get up. That's the reason why we spend a lot of money to buy those business we just have now. Please do something at this project. We need to do something because we only have a space. The owner of that space give opportunity to park our truck. We will pay them every month. Please do something about it. We really need, because I need to work. If I don't work, what am I going to do? I'm going to lose my house? It can't be like that. Please do something. Remember family Francois. We need to survive.
Thank you, Mr. Francois. Thank you so much in terms of that. Yes, sir, you have something you want to add? Please, real quick. We got 15 seconds. No problem.
I just want to add that, when you guys said you are able to park food trucks in North Miami, but the thing is, you guys are saying we could use a mechanical car wash, which is there's one located in North Miami, and the other thing was a construction site. And I was like, how's that fair to us? Like, that doesn't give us too much opportunity. They said the one mechanical car wash is already taken up by somebody, so where's the opportunity in that? There's no opportunity with food trucks, really.
Yes.
That's the point.
Thank you so much. And now public hearing is closed. On the matter, I think you have talked to staff. Mr. Francois, I'm trying to recall the whole situation, but here's the situation that we have. I have two neighbors that wants to do the exact same thing that you are doing. I think us as lawmakers, and I believe Council Member Timothy had just came on board when we were talking about this discussion, and you had brought in some good ideas in terms of the legislation. There's two things that's happening. If we reverse, or let's just say whatever happened in terms of that, you will have your neighbor, everybody else's neighbor with a food truck. Right now, we have an issue, especially in our District 3 and District 4, where all type of cars are parked outside, major commercial cars. We even have Hearst that parked in front of somebody's house. They're living. But in terms of us, we try to work, when we put the legislation, if I recall, there was a limit of the spacing that we put, because we keep in mind, if you go through the right process, I think that there is a process, and I'm not saying about the parking, that you get your permit, whatever that process is, then you can't have like 110 other people coming in terms of selling food or doing that, because that will hurt your business in terms of reality. So when the legislation was being crafted and we were deliberating on it, that was all of that we took into consideration. Our folks like you, because they can't do it outside of their house. That's illegal. That's not allowed. The other part that you had mentioned, I think another conversation that you might not know that we do, we have provided more grants for local businesses such as yours than any other, almost any other cities in South Florida, in terms of through the CRA, that you could sit and we could help you find a location, whatever the case is. But there is a process in terms of the food truck. You can't just park it anywhere, because your property value, now this is the other part. Imagine if you have 5 different trucks on your street. So now we're creating where we do allow it, people could park whatever that they do want. Then we become to property values going up, because property values decline in terms of the property not keeping up, doing what they needs to do. It's already a struggle. We don't have enough code enforcement officers. So it's a process, but we have provided enough space within the legislation that we wrote. I think the young lady, please meet with staff and find out if you need resources in terms of assisting you as one of our residents who is also a homeowner. All of us here will be more than happy in terms of sitting down and helping you the best way we can towards you. But I don't know if I would be in support of opening up food truck everywhere for anybody to just park anywhere, which we already have a process that I think you may not have known, but staff is in the back, and you could call my office. You got a councilman, you got vice mayor, you got all of us, Councilwoman Timothy, I think she followed you on Instagram.
I just followed you on Instagram, too.
There we go. We just get a follower. So we could help you in terms of whatever that you may need to go, because maybe your mom food is that good, we need a restaurant. We've been doing that through the CRA. We don't do that through the city, but we could, help you with the grant process and making sure that you do what needs to be done. But it would not be good for you if we allow everybody to have a food truck, because I'll have one the next thing, because I could cook. So now y'all gotta watch out.
Mr. Mayor, if
Yes.
I recall, I remember when this ordinance came back, and maybe they can discuss with staff,
Yeah.
but I remember there was a process that we said we would establish for special permit, like if they did want to have a food truck. So maybe staff can revisit. I know it was something that we recently passed in the city, so that, Mr. Cook, if you can look at that too. Might you have to go into the minutes, because sometimes, we forget things in our minutes. But I remember we did discuss some type of process to allow it to be accessible in other commercial areas. But that's something for staff. So we'll please be in contact with
Right.
Mr. Cook.
And
Thank
what I'd
you.
like to
Yes,
add
Vice
in the
Mayor.
meantime, please be a vendor, sign up to be a vendor with the cities. A lot of
Yes,
times
we
we
have
have
the
events.
festival.
We have events, we have NOMI Festival
Yeah.
coming up.
Are y'all a vendor? Well,
Right,
Parks and
I'm
Rec
sure,
next year?
right, I'm sure that
Come on now.
staff can assist you in becoming a vendor with our city. And, I know that when we do our back-to-school events, when we have NOMI Fest, we do a couple of events.
we will
I
get
know
y'all.
that's not the answer, but at least for now, like in 2 weeks, we have an event that you could probably participate. So I just wanted to offer that as well.
Almost every other day, there's an event here.
Hey.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
So the director's in the back, sir. You could give them your information, but also the CRA is a route if you need money to look at the where we need to look at. And there's several businesses that we are helping, and that's all they do. And you may not know, but that's what we're here for. You don't want us to open the floodgate in terms of that. That won't be good for our community.
If
I think we're done. Yes,
Yeah,
Councilman.
if I may add to that, just before you leave, just make sure you see me, since you guys are just right in my district, so we can start that conversation. All right.
Okay, thank you, Madam Deputy Clerk.
Motion to adjourn.
No.
No report.
Oh, she has a report. Oh, sorry.
I know, that's what I was trying to say.
sorry.
She said no report. Mr. Attorney.
Oh, Mr.
you are
Attorney.
good.
No report, Mayor.
That's the good thing about you, Jeff. You never have report. Madam Manager, you don't either.
No.
Miguel,
Happy
your
Valentine's
first
Day.
camel.
And thank you for the opportunity to
Thank
serve
you.
in the short
Thank
Oh,
you
yeah,
so
and Miguel
much.
too. Thank you.
Oh,
You're on-
Miguel,
you're on the job for like
God.
2 days.
You see Miguel not playing. Thank you, y'all. Have a happy Valentine. We did
I
it.
have a motion
9:30.
made by Councilwoman
And we all
Timothy
in
to
re-
adjourn. Motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Estimate Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The time is now 9:26 p.m.